This is Lucy James on behalf of reviewer Alessandra Barbosa. Battle Royales have only been around for a handful of years, and for the most part, they've strictly stuck within the same genre of games. Whether you're playing Warzone, Fortnite, or Apex Legends, you're always shooting a gun and running from an encroaching circle. Fall Guys Ultimate Knockout, an extremely colourful and whimsical battle royale, is a great example of the genre growing outside of its roots. It's a far more approachable take on the multiplayer format, with simple controls and a variety of minigames giving this competitive game show as much charm as they do tension. Playing as one of 60 multicolored jelly bean-shaped contestants, you compete in a joyous and comical race to be crowned the winner of each of Fall Guys' 15-minute games. Each one is broken up by various minigames, with handfuls of players eliminated after each one. These games all take on a variety of themes, from straightforward obstacle race courses to frantic team games where you're hoarding as many eggs as you can into a basket. Each one makes good use of Fall Guys' easy to understand control scheme, which lets you jump, dive, and grab with ease. The pick up and play nature of Fall Guys is one of its strongest aspects, along with its quick and entertaining games. It's never unclear when you need to jump over a gap or navigate through the hordes of contestants trying to reach the finish line before you. Its approachability lets anyone have some fun with it, while its stages bring out glimmers of strategy for seasoned players to take advantage of. With 24 types of stages in rotation, Fall Guys features a lot of variety to each of its matches. Although you'll encounter a race to kick off each game, each one is presented with different obstacles and elements that make them feel distinct from each other. The whirligig, for example, is one of the longest you'll encounter, featuring spinning fans and numerous platforms with rotating hazards ready to knock you off course. By contrast, DoorDash is a much shorter race filled with rows of closed doors, with a random few opening once players have dived through them. The hunt for single routes through each stage of doors create hilarious bottlenecks through doorways not equipped for the stress, sending players tumbling to the floor as the group attempts to stampede to the end. It's ridiculous, but equally hilarious every time. Other survival-based modes are equally frantic and stressful. Rollout, for example, puts all players on a string of rotating platforms with random walls, obstacles, and gaps thrown in as they spin around. Moving between each platform while avoiding the hordes of other players trying to do the same is as comical as it is strategic. These survival modes don't require the most dexterous platforming, generally ending well before things speed up to an uncomfortable pace. But the way they force all players to get uncomfortably close to one another and sow random chaos is extremely effective. If you've ever watched Wipeout or Takeshi's Castle, you'll recognize the slapstick nature to each stage and appreciate the care given to balance elements of luck and skill, with only a handful missing this mark. Tail Tag gives some players tails and tasks everyone else with hunting them down and yanking it off for themselves. It's a fun game of tag on paper, but with each player moving the same speed and the distance required to latch on and steal a tail being so small, it quickly becomes a frustrating runaround. It's even worse when used as the match type for the final stage, where the only player at the end with a tail wins the whole thing. This stage is too large for the handful of players left in the game, giving an unfair advantage to the one that happens to start with the tail. Not all of the finales in Fall Guys faces these issues, however, with two standing out. Hexagon is a nerve-wracking platforming test where the ground disappears beneath you as you run over it. It's a game where you're rewarded for staying on each level of platforms for as long as possible, either by making smart jumps across gaps made by other players or navigating intelligently around each level to stay above the pit of slime below. Similarly, Jump Showdown puts all players on a single platform with two spinning beams. They move at different speeds, forcing you to continue moving and time your jumps so that you aren't caught out when both beams line up. Both modes involve a level of skill that make them more suitable for determining the overall winner of each game. You'll frequently be thrown into team-based modes too, which can either delight or dishearten based on who you're paired up with. A race to get a giant ball through an obstacle course can become a test of patience when just one or two teammates aren't pulling their weight, while Rocket League-styled games of oversized football can feel extremely one-sided for the same reasons. These aren't faults of the game modes themselves, most capture the same goofy fun of the solo ones, but when your entire team is eliminated thanks to just one or two players, it does take some of the excitement out of immediately jumping into another game. With its short games and easy to grasp mechanics, Fall Guys is easily the most approachable and welcoming battle royale yet. Its bursting colour and varied game modes do a good job of reeling you in and keeping you hooked, even if a handful feel at odds with the easygoing nature of its premise. It can be disheartening to have a game end prematurely due to uneven team matches, and worse still when you're forced into one of Fall Guys' unsatisfying finale modes, but neither are enough to derail the fun Fall Guys consistently generates, with its chaotic obstacle courses and earworm soundtrack ensuring you'll be coming back for more.